The next topic here is, something I'm I applaud the company for making this business model in a sense. I mean, it's not the first company to do this, but hopefully they could gain more traction in terms of what they're trying to achieve. So in terms of building a modular laptop is something that, you know if you can replicate what your experience in the desktop world can do for you, obviously that would be tremendous here. And being portable and all, according to pcgamer.com again, the company, the first totally modular Intel laptop is now available for shipping, and hoping that it is a success. So the company we're talking about is Frameworks company. So let's see here. So it's the first fully modular laptop as mentioned. So hopefully it can be more of a success than just a fad or a flop. Hopefully not. So according to company framework, they mentioned that there have been pre-orders for batch 1, which will be delivered this month, and hopefully continue to ship out from warehouse each day. Well, where batch 2 will start shipments on August next month, or very soon after that. So the question here is, will there be a demand for modular laptops? Now, obviously, in my personal experience, I would always like to have the option of upgrading certain components, whether it's in the GPU, can the motherboard be replaced, the battery, the SSD, storage card, your RAM stick, on and on and on. And obviously for many laptop manufacturers, they're very apprehensive because obviously there's proprietary technology, especially for Apple. They don't want you tinkering with it. And again, it goes to the issue of right to repair, but that's another issue altogether. Anyway, according to the company, they mentioned that framework laptop is a prime example of how manufacturer can and should embrace right to repair, because it just makes sense. Because if you buy a product, consumers has should have the right to be able to do whatever they please, because they own it. It's not the company who owns it. That's why I'm very apprehensive if companies will always put a software limitation in your devices, whether it's been your smartphone, laptops, or in this case, even in Tesla's vehicles, so that you cannot maximize its utility. You have to pay an additional fee to be able to utilize those features as mentioned, which is not a very enjoyable experience if you're a consumer here. As mentioned, a fully modular laptop, meaning from the motherboard to the I/O inputs outputs, and there are 4 expansion ports, meaning you can choose from a USB Type C module, or you can combine whether USB-C, Type A, or even the display port, HDMI, or even a micro SD slot card. So it depends on your preferences, type of job, based on your need. So you can pick and choose rather than you'll be limited to just, typically you have to pay top dollars to get the features that you want, and then some features that you don't need, maybe you could do away here. What's interesting in they're offering in terms of storage from 250 gigabytes of storage all the way to 1 terabytes of storage. So obviously they're leveraging also the technology of connectivity with USB 3.2 Gen 2 interface. So, and also the storage expansion cards of sequential read from up to 1000 megabytes, so 1 terabytes. So it depends on your preferences. If you need fast transfer of data, if you're doing, let's say, video editing or photo shoots, obviously you'd prefer something more robust here. Now, obviously, not all is good and dandy here. There are always downsides to any technology that you're incorporating here. And one of these instances is, obviously, don't expect this modularity to be considered as a gaming laptop, because it does not support a discrete GPU. So it's still tied up to what the motherboard can utilize here. And another thing is the CPU is attached to the motherboard, so you cannot just simply open the motherboard chassis and then replace the CPU here. So upgrading a processor means a whole swap of your motherboard. So it's still not yet fully modular in a sense, but it's still, you still have more options than typical laptops here. So what they're offering here is introductory model of a 13-inch display with better than HD 2256 by 1504 resolution here, powered by an Intel 11th Gen Tiger Lake processor. So they have 3 variants here. an i7-1185 G7, an i7-1165 G7, or an i5-1135 G7 here. Both all of them have onboard XE graphics here. So you want to take a look at the specs if it meets your criteria, or you want to look at somewhere else or a different brand here. What's interesting here, the pricing here starts at $999 or around 50,000 pesos here. So which is not pretty expensive, but it's not super affordable. So, or not cheap in this case. But again, at least it gives you the option or the flexibility of choosing if you can afford it. Is this the options or features that you need in your laptops? Then go right ahead, and at least you're paying what you get. Getting what you paid for is what I'm trying to say here. Anyway, so hoping for the best for those companies.